Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on January 3rd, 2024 at approximately 4:20 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose. Well, do not. And that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I build myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the same tools I personally use in my day to day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the philosophies I literally guide my day by day movement to. I know these tools will work for you because they work for me and they have worked for literally countless thousands of other people with varying degrees of success depending on their own personal efforts. Now, I was concerned this was going to be a short video today because, well, I'm having computer problems. Shock of shocks. The ultimate issue was with Yahoo Messenger. I was not getting any sound out. Like the speaker was not working at all, or more to the point, the mic wasn't. Okay, I'm happy to see it did work this time because I wasn't planning on cutting it down. I'm wide awake. That's a nice little change. But the reason I said spirituality now is a time for an overhaul is because of this, which we will get to in about 10 seconds. I forgot one little detail, consistency. So, close that door because we don't require it open. And, I have a tendency, gang, of doing my best to get things set up ahead of time. So let's go up to the top here and see what we got. Okay. We have Joe. Is it Joe? No, Missouri man was in with the goal today. Missouri, I hope you're still in the house. You were definitely in a whole lot earlier than I was expecting anybody to pop in. But you still get the gold. Joe, you are in with the silver. So I do hope your day has been going well. I know things have been hectic for you around your end of the world. Okay, and we will get to your question. I do have, speaking of which, what did I do with it? Oh, I will have to take a trip up front. Told you I was going to end up drawing a picture, a real bad picture. Get over it. I did. Okay. Then we have Shadow and Sun is in with the bronze. And of course, as per usual, we open this file, go down here, and we find Shadow's link to his live stream, Shadow and Sun. Absolutely drop in, give them a listen. If you like what they have to say, do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. It's this sharing of information and of ideas that is going to increase the communication lines and thereby turn this world back around to where it is functional for us. Okay, then we have Chad Smith in. No, we do not. My apologies. We have Football Cat in with the bronze. I'm doing that really backwards. We got Missouri Joe. Yes. Football comes in with honorable mention. So how you doing, football? I do hope your guys' day has been going well. And for that matter, the beginning of the year hopefully has gotten off to a good start. Now we have Forrest Louie in the house. How you doing, Forrest Louie? Glad you could join us. Now let me see. We shrink that down. Let's see what we're looking at here. And scrolling down the line a little, we have Raven is in the house. Raven, how you doing? And we missed one here, sort of. Where are we? Chad, we did not find that. I minimized that, so I couldn't do anything with it. Go back up here. And we find the link to Chad's archives. Hopefully one day he will find time to do another podcast, but time will tell. Clearly no pressure there, Chad. But guys, drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, do give him a thumbs up. Let him know that you've noticed. Give him, then share the daylight time link. That will be really appreciated. Gotta check that too. System is wonderfully off balance today, and we'll get to that in a bit. But then we have Raven wandering in. And of course, this is the link to Raven's live show. Okay, to her live stream. And where are we? Right there. Whoop. Copy that. And we drop this in. This is the link to Raven's live stream. So drop in. Give her a listen. If you like what she has to say, give her a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. Okay. And we continue down the line a little here. And who do we got? Whoop. Minimize that. And we have... Okay, looks like we're caught up for the start. And that's a good thing. So, with that in mind, I was looking at things. As a matter of fact, hold that thought for 1/2 second longer. Maybe a little longer. It takes a bit to walk 30 feet. 60. Hey, how we doing? Not bad. Better your legs than mine. Exactly the point. But right now they don't hurt. I did. That's why you only got a temporary impact. Love you, kiddo. Okay. Have to be scared if I'm not scared. To my way of thinking. But before I get there, we have Desiree. Whoa. Cannot see that. And thank you for that. Having a positive outlook in today's world is an absolute shambles. It's a real struggle, especially when you think of one little detail. People go, you've got to be more positive. I talk about the world is in trouble. Well, you have to be positive. Well, I am positive the world's in trouble. I don't know how much more clear I can make it. But today we're going to take a look at why it's in trouble and just exactly what people are looking at. Okay. Cowie, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Hopefully your day has been going well. I get a kick out of that. The nice part about it, Desiree, is that you guys are able to share, and this is a good thing. Yeah, it really is. Football, you have asked, are flying monkeys real? Presumably, you're referring to the ones that are referred to in The Wizard of Oz. The answer to your question is yes. Okay, and I know that sounds absolutely loopy. It sounds absolutely loopy, but flying monkeys really are an actual thing. No, we're not having an earthquake. I just knocked my desk. But where are we here? Joe's going, I'm still here, but at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, as me and my mom went out for the evening, a cop went into the cemetery at 1:30 p.m. If I was in there own business, he would have stopped me. And for no reason at all. I won't go in there anymore because of that day and night. I don't blame you there, Joe. If you can avoid interacting with people that are going to cause you stress, we have an interesting situation. LA, glad you're home. Glad you made it in here. Yeah, as you can tell, apparently the vocal is working. I still am going to have to talk to Frank and see what happened with Messenger. I don't know. It's a computer. It's me. What can I say? But and am I still broadcasting volume? I think so. Yeah. This is one of the reasons why I keep this extra one up here. The last time I did this, it created an interesting problem. There we go. Now, when I take a look at this whole situation, yes, there is no question that flying monkeys are a real thing. Football goals, they're called rebobs in California. Yeah, I don't warble. I don't even try and sing anymore. No, but the reality of the situation is this: we have a lot of things going on right now, and before I get into a lot of those, let's take a look at the reality of this. Now, I've been catching blurbs on YouTube, on Twitter. There's all these neat little newfangled things coming out that all now I cannot confirm or deny what's going on mainstream media. I don't have cable. Okay, I just don't have cable at all. Um, you know, and so what I can tell you is, without exception, what I've seen is every time one of these neat little new videos comes out, they go, mainstream media is all over this thing. Hi Voices, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Well, here's the thing. If you listen to all these new breakthroughs that are coming through, yes. Yeah, you're talking about dinosaurs. How about if we go with Elasmosaur, Plesiosaur, Mosasaur, Gorilla, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. We can go with the Pachycephalosaurus. We can go with Ankylosaurus, sorry. You know, many of them are still alive and quite healthy. Okay, the thing is, most of them are not on the surface, and we will get to those. Okay, this is one of the things we have to realize is when we're looking at the spiritual side of the world. Here's the kicker: these videos that are coming out that go, "Oh, we've got this medical breakthrough," and the medical industry is up in arms over to get us banned. Mainstream media has picked it up. Mainstream media has picked it up, and the medical society is trying to shut down the video and get it banned. Okay, or the automotive industry is trying to wipe out this video because it's that good. Or here you go, here's a new program you can just plug in, sit, and do absolutely jack, and you can end up a millionaire in 6 months. Or do absolutely nothing, no exercise, no work, no dieting, and you can drop 60 pounds in 2 months. Guys, put it all together. Every industry is apparently collapsing. Everybody's got these newfangled items that are coming out. Health concerns are a thing of the past. You can sit on your tail feathers. You can do absolutely nothing and become a multimillionaire overnight. Okay. Now, if this is the case, why do we have people? If so many things are breaking through and falling apart, why, pray tell, do we have so many people living on the street, living in fear, starting wars with each other just because somebody doesn't agree with something else? Okay, this is what we're being fed. Now you get to choose. Do you want a shovel, or is a backhoe more appropriate? Your call. Okay, LA, you're absolutely right. The alligator and the crocodile haven't changed in literally millions of years. The tuatara, okay, is still the same. They've seen pterosaurs via the drones that are out now. Okay, the list goes on. Okay, and there's even things that you wouldn't believe at this point. Okay, now here's the kicker, I voices. Does Shiva exist? The answer is yes. Okay, and I am referring to the god Shiva. Does he exist? The answer is yes. But is he the top of the totem pole? Absolutely no. Okay, but then again, God isn't the top of the totem pole, and that came from him directly. However, many people have attributed him with the title of the God of Destruction. Okay, he's not as good at it as some people, but has he been attributed to it that way? Certainly. And I'm not out to tell you that you can't believe in whichever God you choose. That's your call. Well, I can tell you when I met him. Now, bear in mind the neat thing about these people that humans call gods. Okay, they can turn around and change their appearance to look either male or female or neither. And yes, CERN exists as well. Like all of these things are real. The question is, are we going to buy into the negative trap that we've been being taught, or are we going to change the way we're looking at it? Now, while I'm thinking about it, because this is something I have to do for me. Where did I put it? Right there in front of me. I just need a piece of information that is stored in this little monster. I've been sitting still for the better portion of the day, but this has a piece of information on it that I require. Let's see if it tracks it properly. 149.84. Oh, that's better. It's down a bit. 149.84. Of course it had an error. Equals 90. Okay, that was my blood pressure a little while ago. And bear in mind, I've been sitting still most of the day today. So yeah, blood pressure can get a little screwy. Now, come back to the issue here. Okay. Now, yeah, some people have. Now, of course, many people see Satan as male. When I met her, quite frankly, female to the bone. Okay. But the gender doesn't really matter. The reality is, do these people exist? Do dinosaurs exist? Absolutely. Is HARP active and are people doing stupid things with HARP? Yeah, but there is a reason for that. Other than people are inherently stupid, it seems. Okay, do understand something very important here. Okay, ignorance is when you do something without knowing better. Stupid is when you do it anyway, in spite of the fact you know it. Okay, but we got to understand something about HARP. HARP is a first generation atmospheric generator, and they are going to have to, they are going to have to take a look at, they're going to have to look at how it affects things. So there are going to be damages, but what we got to remember is the moment while we keep focusing on what is going wrong, let's look at what can come right out of it. Okay, now, from the spiritual standpoint, and I do not expect anybody to believe anything I say, do your own research. Okay, and for pity's sakes, please, if you will, if you like the stream, do give us a thumbs up, do subscribe to the channel, and share the daylights out of the thing. Okay, I am striving to drive this and drive with your guys' assistance to turn this into a major concern. We have billions of people quite willing to sit down and listen for 2, 3, 4 hours to somebody stand at the front of a room and go, "We're all going to die. We're going to we're going to starve to death. We got land shortages. We got oil shortages. We got food shortages." If you listen to one young lady in the States, we are running short of gravity because somehow we're using that up. Now, some of these things seem kind of insane in my eyes, but the problem with the word insane is it means you're in the state of sanity. In other words, if you're insane, you're actually in better shape than if you're not. Okay, now, who is this name? Oh, Shakti. Yeah, in all fairness, Raven, I do not know all the different gods' names. Of course, I don't know all the names of the people in this room, which is why I choose to simply go with the ones that are posted. And absolutely, guys, in case you haven't figured it out, if you've got a question that comes up, even if it isn't the topic we're talking about, absolutely put it in the chat room. In all caps is preferable so I can find the thing. Okay. Or at least partial caps or that wavy hand to let me know, to catch my attention. Christine, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Hopefully the year has started out well for you. You know, what I was doing there, I was double checking my blood pressure because it was a little higher. But I've been sitting down most of the day. Blood pressure ended up at 149/84. And I'm sitting still, and it was running at 90. So yeah, little on the high side. But not planning on dying anytime soon. Of course, in all fairness, I didn't plan on dying the last time. But something we have to realize, if we're going to continue down this road, you know, of focusing on what is falling apart, what is wrong with the world, without doing anything about it, we're going to have a problem. You know, it happened back in Rome. It's going to happen again if it continues on this path. Oh, yeah, Christine, I ended up with a mild case of vertigo and I felt a mild flutter. So I'm like, and that was only like 5 minutes before the stream. So I just said, no, I'm just checking it. This is why I've got this little thing. I've had this. This is a blood pressure cuff. I've had this one since I had my stroke back in 2018. So I've been keeping real close eye on it. You know, so from my standpoint, it really boils down to if something feels off, I'll double check it. You know, that's just the way it's got to be. Now, here's something that I didn't have a chance to bring up because it didn't dawn on me. Whoop. See, things are causing complications here. But here's the neat thing. New Year's Eve has always been, for me, an issue. We've always had one snack in particular. Okay. These funny little things. But you can't get them in Canada anymore. Or at least I didn't think you could. Nobody seemed to. My son found a place in town to get some. So I ended up with my bugles for New Year's. Very important from my end. You know, when I went to the doctor right before Christmas, I went in, got my blood pressure checked, and she said, it's up a little high. Right? I said, yeah. I said, but I live, you know, I walk out of my house, my blood pressure jumps 20 points. I walk out heading for the doctor's office or a government building, and it jumps 40 to 50. She goes, yeah, that unfortunately happens to a lot of people. She says, but do you have any idea? I says, yeah, I've been tracking it virtually daily for the last 4 years, and I'm usually sitting in the low 130 to, you know, low 130 over the low 80. Right. Which might be a little high, but it stays static. And she goes, oh, I'll just write that down. I'm like, okay. But we have a choice. You can buy into all this negativity. You're more than welcome to. I'm telling you, I'm not going there. Well, here's the funny thing, Joe. And I'm going to bring something up. Do not take my word for it. Just don't. Okay. Before I stick my foot in my mouth all the way to my hip. Okay. And try and get the second one in beside it. Now, this is the Bible I've been reading. Okay. This one is the one I grew up with. In the Bible, and check your own version. Okay, I've looked at the King James Version. It's pretty, that's what this one is sort of like, is essentially like. But in the King James Version, it tells you that, first of all, right off the bat, the 10 commandments that are listed there, it doesn't tell you what the originals were, but it does tell you that Moses never even showed the commandments on the first set of tablets. Check the first, either chapter 1 or chapter 2 of Exodus. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. There's enough of you in here that are researchers, that are researching the paranormal, UFOs, that sort of thing. I'm telling you, as a mundane person, find a Bible. Check the first chapter, the first or second chapter of Exodus. Second book in the Bible. Okay. And it'll tell you that Moses never even showed the tablets to his brother Aaron. He shattered them on the ground before anybody saw them, and then went up and got a new set. Now the thing is, and I can tell you wholeheartedly, I know what's on the tablet to start with. 3 laws. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And energy out, energy in. Now compare the 3 of the 10 commandments, or the commandments that you listen to or you pay attention to, the guidelines in any 12-step program, the teachings in the witches' covens, any one of them. Okay, compare even the laws you see in the written, the legal laws for the country or the community you're in, or the ones you were raised in your own home. Take a look at every law you can find and compare them to those 3. And I will tell you, from my experience, and I'm still looking, so if you find one, let me know, all of those laws that you've listed, okay, will fit inside the 3 I follow. Okay, again, word for it, do your own research. Okay, now I did tell my doctor when I went and got my last blood work done that I will stay on the medication until my system is balanced and until I get a doctor that will actually confirm it. Oh, if you think about it, Raven, Aramaic, they went from Aramaic to Greek to English. You take a look at any 2 Bibles. I don't care which Bible. Compare them. And if they are not matched word for word, they are mistranslated in my eyes. And let's not go with the idea, language changes. Language changes, yes, absolutely. But so many things have been written out. Now, Joe's going, I have always enjoyed feeling the closeness of the divine in nature rather than church. Well, think about it, Raven. Okay, hang on, gotta go up and see what Joe is up to. Joe. Yeah, Joe goes, it seems that even as we are in 2024, there are more and more bad churches than ever, meaning corrupt. I still pray and stuff, but don't go to church. The thing is, Joe, okay, number one, even if you read the Bible, okay, and I'm talking about the Christian Bible, it tells you in there somewhere, haven't come across it yet as far as where, but it tells you, and the church raised its voice under the heavens and raised its arms under the host above, and raised its arms under the heavens. I have yet to see a building do that. Okay, I really have. But what you're talking about is you still believe in God. You're having trouble believing in church. Okay, I believe in church. It's there. It's great for community. It is great for it's great for a sense of brotherhood. If you can find one that actually accepts people. Where it comes to being connected more to nature, well, in all fairness, much as I will stay in my house quite readily, I am much more drawn to the plants and animals, okay, than I am people. First and foremost, I find them far more honest. When we start looking at the spiritual side, yeah, I can understand that, Christine. I was told years ago I should start a church. Well, the problem is the mainstream churches locked that whole door down. That said, this is why I said I'm not going to worry about that. I will tell you wholeheartedly. I've had a meeting with him myself, actually several. So, do I believe wholeheartedly in God and in Jesus? Absolutely. Do I care whether you do? Doesn't matter to me one way or the other. What does matter is whether or not you treat each other in a viable fashion. You treat people as you desire to be treated. That's what matters. Okay, this garbage of going to war over a piece of property. Okay, and I call it garbage because it doesn't make sense. How about we take a look at this? We're running out of land by astronomical configuration. When you talk to the astronomers, Earth is growing in size. As far as I understand it, about a millimeter in diameter every year. Now, with this in mind, Earth is not running out of land, it's getting more. Well, let's clarify something there, Christine. Jesus was not the only way to get there. He was simply the only one vocal enough. Okay. Oh, I will tell you how to get to heaven and God. Die. That'll do it. I'd recommend not doing it too quick, though. But that'll get you there. The funny part about it is religion and science are both necessary. And here's where religion comes in handy. Okay. Well, it's an easy way to get there. I mean, I've tried it before. It's a wonderful rush. Okay. By the way, do not try that. You've heard the saying, don't try these things at home. Well, don't die. Not anytime soon. Okay. Do this. Okay. You're living your life the way it is. Why in heaven's name or anybody else's name, why would a guy that can create everything go, I don't like you. I'm going to make your life miserable. Where is the purpose to this? Okay. Now, that said, where is the purpose to a lot of the greed, a lot of the fear that we're listening to? Well, here you have it. As far as I understand, and somebody can certainly correct me on any of this, absolutely, I am not the be all and end all of information. Probably one of the mouthiest people you'll meet, but I do my best. Oh, absolutely, high voices. You can. Okay, in all fairness, there's a couple of ways of getting there. But I was taking it as going there essentially permanently. But yes, you can come and go. Okay, there is a kicker to it, though. See, heaven and hell do exist. But before I get into their existence, okay, let us understand something. Religion came about because somebody figured out how to come up with a viable reason, okay, with a viable explanation to put people's minds at ease. Way, way, way back. Okay, and do not, we can go with the idea of, there's creationism or there's evolution. Take a break, have both. Okay. What have we got here? Now, what did Raven say that I missed? Oh, yeah, Raven says religion is for people who are afraid to go to hell. Spirituality is for people who've already been there. Well, here's the thing. Religion itself, you take a whole bunch of people, okay, and we're not just talking about two. We're talking about a whole bunch of people living in caves. Don't worry about whether that makes sense. Dinosaurs were not a practical joke by God. Okay, and if they were, it's a heck of a joke. But you have all these people. Now, way, way, way back, look at the records, look at everything you've heard. Mankind used to be afraid of thunder. Net result, the thunder god was created. Okay, there's a whole pile of things come with that. But here's the thing. Back then, somebody came out and, you've got to question the rationality of it. Somebody came out and went, oh, the thunder god is angry. Let's kill your firstborn son to settle him down. Now, I got no problem with people coming up with absolutely bizarre ideas. Take a look at the Tide Pod Challenge. Hey, I got an idea. I got this pack of food, and I've got this pack of poison. Eat it, because that'll show you're a man. Absolutely do so. Now, I got no problem with the guy coming up with the idea. I have a bit of a problem with the people going, gee, that sounds like a great idea. Why don't we do that? Let's start eating poison for lunch. Bad idea, guys. Okay, there's all kinds of bad ideas. How about this one? When it says poison, don't put it in your face. If it says sharp, don't grab it with a tight fist. If it says hot, keep your fingers off the thing. It's a little bit of that really dying commodity, common sense. And I'll tell you, for something called common, it's one of the rarest things on the planet right now. The whole key to spirituality. Robert White, how you doing? Glad. The whole key to spirituality is taking a look in the mirror and asking yourself, when you get into a philosophical discussion, okay, does your philosophy hold? If it does, you're on the right track. If it doesn't, there's something missing. Now, I've gotten into a lot of philosophical debates with people, over time. They've been pretty short-lived. In all fairness there, Robert, I don't know if they did. The fact you guys can hear me is why I'm actually online. But after I get done this, I've got a call coming in right at about 6:30. And then once that is done, hopefully Frank and I are going to get together and sort out whatever the heck went sideways. But tech issues and I get along hand in hand. Now, I did tell you I was going to draw something. It was going to be an absolutely pathetic picture. So get over the art. Okay, this is what's called a starting point. But this little guy here, there, okay, is somebody I just ran into 2 days ago. Okay, still working on all the details. A little bit of it's fuzzy, but we will be growing on, we will be building on that. And I know there's parts missing, not the least of which is the size of the teeth. Okay, don't know much about them yet. Of course, in all fairness, it wasn't like they were introducing themselves and saying, hey, by the way, I'm new in the area and I just wanted to say hi, I'm your new neighbor. Doesn't work that way most of the time. Okay, but will I be adding to it? Yes. Needless to say, I've got a lot of things going on. Oh, that's terrible, Robert. That really is. Actually, it's funny. I was talking to a medical student the other day, and she goes, the first 2 years of the course, you learn how to write. The last 2 years, you learn how to not write. How to decipher. I've got a straight line, and that is a prescription. Really? I don't know. I know my handwriting is atrocious. I also know I'm working on making it better. The way I figured I could be a doctor too. Countless people tell me I know nothing about what I'm doing and refuse to do what I tell them, and then sit and complain their life didn't change. Now, with that in mind, we are going to set about changing people's lives. Okay, I'm looking right now. Yeah, right now we're sitting at 577. We have been for a little while. I'm not expecting major changes. Am I going to get online and bring my social media up a little bit more effectively? Yes. These first few days have been a bit of an interesting shambles. But, and of course, I came to the conclusion, if this doesn't get sorted out, tomorrow I've got an appointment. Well, more to the point, I told somebody I was going to take them out for dinner. Okay. It just so happens that it falls on Thursday. I think tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, tomorrow is Thursday. Oh, okay. Well, that just means I've got to make a phone call. Not right now. After the Oh, that's how to solve that problem. After the stream here, I got to make a phone call and talk to and see about one last person. Well, that's a good place to start. See, they took me to the morgue before I ever even knew what a hospital was. You know, but yeah, pray they don't have a situation like the poor tech did that I was in the morgue when I was taken there. You know, medical students, medical people, doctors are trained to handle the morgue where where the body twitches, hiccups, occasionally sits up. You're really in trouble when you get one that gets up and leaves. This is going to cause a problem. But on the other hand, if they can't handle the morgue, they're going to have a heck of a time handling an operating table. Okay, mind you, at least in the case of the operating table, the organs start inside the body. Okay, they used to have a program out called Scared Straight. I don't know if they still do it, where they would take budding criminals into an actual penitentiary and get them to meet the actual criminals in the hopes they would turn them around. Counterattack, when you were looking at drunk driving, when I worked with it became mothers against drunk driving. Way back when I was working with counterattack, we used to show videos of the actual accident scenes. But oh no, they're too bad, and we don't want to upset people's feelings because Lord knows they're going to look so much better when they hit the wall. You know, I mean, this is a silly thing. We have been told you can't be honest. You've got to lie and you've got to sugarcoat everything in order to make sure that nobody has to work, society's failing, but you can be a millionaire sitting on your couch doing absolutely nothing. Okay, your call entirely. Now, wouldn't that be a wonderful world? We'd all be bored to death. But wouldn't that be a great world where you didn't have to get off your tail feathers and money would magically show up in your bank? Okay, albeit money with no backing, but money will magically show up in your bank and you don't have to do anything. You don't even have to leave your house to go and grocery shop. Yeah, Robert goes, there were no snowflakes back when the information was important shock value. Absolutely. I like that one. I don't recall if I actually saw crispy critters. I do know I saw a lot of accidents. I said my first, the first accident I resulted one that I ever saw outside of class was clear decap. Okay, the body was over on the one side, covered in a red cloth. The head was on the other side of the street. And I'll tell you, you never forget the look in that person's eyes. Okay. Second one I saw was a paint job. Before seatbelts came along, a guy hit the side of a bridge so hard he went through the front window, and all he left up the entire length of the bridge was a smudge. You know, but I don't want to scare you into changing your life. I just desire to point out the fact you've got options, and the options are simple. And don't worry about what your life's going to look like in 30 years. Okay. In all fairness, maybe you think you'd like to be, maybe you think like to be a rock star. And then 10 years down the road, okay, you discover that also means that you've got all these drugs and alcohol that you got to deal with, and all the hate mail and the fan mail, and just decide that's not for me. But take a look at your life right this moment. Okay, right now. What is it about your life right now that you're not content with? People say you've got to go to church to find salvation. Tell you, I went to church And one pastor came in, and after my dad had spent 13 years building a youth group from 40 kids to 250, well, 40 people, kids and adults combined, to over 250 from any walk of life, any income, any religious background. Dad took them all in. Okay. One pastor came in and goes, if you're not of this specific religion and denomination, get out. Well, needless to say, my whole family walked out of the church. So I went from being a very devout, churchgoer, involved in the Sunday school, teaching Sunday school, went to church every day, got involved, went to church every Sunday, got involved in choir, in the church choir, was in all of the pageants I could get into. To the point I even played Joseph in the Joseph in the whole story of Christ. Okay, when I was about 8 years old, I had to look at the picture. Okay, I went from that to becoming agnostic. Finally got past the agnosticism thing. Okay, and turned around and became a minister. And yes, I am actually a registered minister, working based out of the church in California called the Universal Life Church. So I've gone the whole 9 yards. And none of you are any less valuable than the next. Doesn't matter what you call God. Quite frankly, he doesn't care. Okay. What matters is how you treat each other and how you treat yourself and the world you're standing on. People keep looking around. Let's point to a different place. There's a neat idea. Way over there, between the Tigris and the Euphrates, there's where the Garden of Eden was. No, not there. We're in Africa. We're going to claim Africa as the birth of civilization, or as the birth of life. Got news for you. Big shock. This whole planet you're standing on, it is all a first world planet. None of it is third world. The whole 9 yards is one world. Take a look around it. No shortage of land, certainly no shortage of water. Okay, the whole 9 yards. We take a look at it. Your Garden of Eden you're standing on. Okay. What do we got? Sovereign, how you doing? Glad you could join us. What do we got here? Christine apparently said something, just going to see what it was. Okay, now I haven't had to do this very often, but did that do what I think it just did? Okay, Sovereign, I'm only going to say this once. Okay, I don't tolerate that at all anymore. You are entitled to your opinion, absolutely. But we are not going down that road. Okay, now, that said, okay, I'm not going to, people are allowed their own beliefs, absolutely. What they're not allowed is calling anybody a name. Absolutely it is. However, that's not. What? The reality of it is, disagreeing with people is absolutely permitted. Okay. Calling people names. Okay, Sovereign. If one of you moderators can figure out how to do this, remove him. I'm done. I'm not playing this game, Sovereign. I'm really not. So, moderators, you see Sovereign walk back in here tonight. Pop him out if you would, please. I do apologize for that, guys. The reality of it is that everybody is entitled to their own view. Absolutely. Okay. Oh, iVoice is going, Sovereign is a troll that should have been banned from SOR a long time ago. Well, I will not ban him at this point, but tonight he's gone. If he can, one day he may be able to come in and say something and I'll leave him alone. The reality of it is this: spirituality boils down to you all have a right to your own belief. Absolutely. Neither do I, football. It creates a bigger problem than it's worth. So thank you very much for your guys' support in this. I do not like having to do it. But, this is why I rely on the moderators. I even had somebody that wasn't a moderator bring something to my attention, which absolutely, if something comes up that comes to your attention, absolutely drop me an email, drop me a message in chat, in the comment section. I will do my best to deal with it. Okay. I do not like tossing people out. And the reason I don't is because the people that you toss out are usually the ones that need more guidance. One of the things we have to realize is we can choose. Okay, we can absolutely choose to believe what we will. However, there is a neat little limit here. Okay, do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And this is why I am very direct about here is the boundaries I'm willing to work with. Storm and Shadow, I don't recognize you, but welcome aboard. I'm glad you could join us. Thank you so much, Raven. I do my best to keep this as safe as I can. Danke, I appreciate that. I do my best to keep this place as safe as I can for everybody. I know I'm going to upset some people. That just goes with the territory of putting your foot in things. I'm not subtle, in case you hadn't noticed. Fortunately, thanks to the support you guys have, that you guys provide me with, and I mean everybody in the chat room. Okay, well, most everybody. I'm able to let things and not end up with an even bigger problem. I already shared what my blood pressure did just before the show. That's always fun. No, but when we look at spirituality, we have to, it is absolutely imperative, each one of us, myself included, take a look in the mirror and go, am I content with this? Okay. Now, the reality of it is, yeah, no doubt. And, the fact of the matter is that I can play havoc with all sorts of things. I do not see the world in the same way most do, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But as I've told people, if you're going into somebody else's chat room, listen to their guidelines. If you're going into somebody's house and they've got rules, follow their rules. You must follow the laws of the land in which you are. The nice part about it is that when we look at spirituality, spirituality is all encompassing. And the thing with religion is this: religion or spirituality simply explains the inexplicable until such time as science can figure it out. Okay, like I was saying earlier, we used to be afraid of thunder. Okay, we used to fear the thunder. Somebody came up and went, hey, I can explain thunder. The thunder god is angry. Okay, then science came along and somebody figured out that thunder is a natural atmospheric side effect. The nice little part of things from this whole setup is if we work together. Okay, the more people that are in here, yes, we're going to get people in here that have their own opinions. Everybody's entitled to your own opinion. Absolutely. Okay. As a matter of fact, if it weren't for having your own opinion, this would be a really boring place. Okay. But I will tell you, if somebody ever wants to really debate the way that the Bible has been twisted around, absolutely bring the show. I won't deal with it here. Okay, I use it as a reference point because it happens to be not what I believe in, okay, but what I read. Okay, it's what I was raised with. What I believe in is simple. It doesn't matter what name you call God. Okay, I mean, I recommend being polite, but I recommend being polite to your cat. Of course, I've met some cats where you swear at them and they'll smack you with an open claw. You know, which, by the way, is not always an enjoyable experience. That falls under the category of, sticks and stones may break my bones, but whips and chains excite me. Now I'm bound and determined I'm going to get some people that are going to be unhappy with me. That just goes with the territory. Like I tell people, I make everybody happy. Some people by showing up, most of them by leaving. It's the same issue of I won't sit there. People have asked me, well, if you knew of a hybrid, would you tell anybody? No, I won't. Okay, that's not for me to tell somebody. It's not for me to tell you whether or not you should be, I'm not Santa Claus. You better not pout. Go ahead and pout. But if you're going to go ahead and pout, my dad used to put it this way. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything. And that works to a degree. I'm a firm believer that sometimes you have to say something that's not nice in order to actually get, well, the old song, you got to be cruel to be kind. I don't believe you got to be cruel, but being politically correct doesn't work well. Now, this is only the second person that I can recall that I had to actually boot. Somebody else walked out because I refused to give an answer to something that I hadn't gotten clearance for. And so be it. I've got my own way of looking at the world. And rest assured, it's probably more twisted than most. But there are those of you that know bits and pieces of my past, okay, as in past lives, that thankfully aren't bringing it out in the open because I don't feel like explaining it right now. And I certainly don't feel like having the complications of explaining why. But you see, in the world I look at, when we look at spirituality, it boils down to this. Whatever you're doing, okay, whatever you're doing, as long as you are doing your best to be nice to each other, to help, okay, oh, yeah, you ran off on us there, Chad. Yeah, there are people that will be like that. And like I told everybody, well, you got up, so that's okay. But spirituality boils down to this. Believe what you will, behave how you will, but be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Energy out, energy in. Remember, these three laws are all equally important. They are all absolutely critical. They're as important as each leg on a three-legged stool. Let one of them fall short and find out how stable that is. Okay, now for me, I'm looking at it this way. I look at all the hogwashes out there. Now get this. Okay, and I call it hogwash because it's like rude to swear. So I use that word. Okay, but think of it this way. We have prejudice all over the place, but children are never prejudiced when they're born. Okay, They are never greedy when they're born. Yes, they can get a little grumpy if you don't feed them, but frankly, so can adults. Okay, kids are taught to be judgmental, to be greedy, to be prejudiced, to be bullies. They really are. But who teaches them? It ain't the elites. It's not the religious guys, the religious icons we've got. It's not the school system. It's the common Joe. No, not you, Joe. Well, maybe you. Okay. And don't take that personally. It's common people, everyday run of the mill people. Okay. Nobody is exempt from it, myself included. Okay. But we have taught for centuries people to fear everything and to take responsibility for just about nothing. Okay. Somebody was talking the other day, right? Somebody was talking about it the other day, and I was making a comment that I just looked at and went, do you want a shovel or is a backhoe more appropriate? Because I'll tell you, the guy was shoveling a really deep load. Now, we are starting off like this year. I have no interest I have no interest at all in creating a problem for people. All I would like to see happen is people to get along. Put down your weapons, whether they are a pen or a gun or a club. I don't care. Okay. Put the weapons down and start communicating. This is the key. They say the pen is mightier than the sword. Well, the pen will do more damage to more people. But I will tell you, I'd rather get stabbed with a pen than a sword. Although, in all fairness, I'd rather not get stabbed. Thus far, I've been lucky. The only people that have stabbed me have been people collecting blood, other than vampires, and the doctors. Now, you will find, in all likelihood, just a heads up, my tolerance for stupidity never was great, but it came to my attention because somebody mentioned it the other day that and it wasn't on here. I got a text from somebody telling me there are a lot of people working in the background to change the path this world is on and make it a better world. Well, this is great. But this is like, in my opinion, it's like the guy sitting in the back seat telling you how to drive. Oh, nice, Joe. Where are we here? It's snowing out and 20 degrees. It's snowing and 20 degrees out. Nice. Paranormal activity is low key, which is good. No, think about that, Raven. When I was a kid, I don't know about you. Of course, in all fairness, I don't know how old you are. When I was a kid, we didn't have video games. We had sticks, and we had sticks that we used to run around and shoot each other with. Okay, or we had sticks, and we'd have sticks, and we'd have pot lids, and we'd use swords and shields. Violence is a natural part of nature. It really is. But what they have learned is lack of accountability. See, when we were growing up, if you hit somebody with a stick, even if you did it slowly, you still had the chance of getting hurt. Okay. And the old saying was, it's all fun and games until somebody loses an eye. Video games let you sit in the comfort of your own home and shoot even your best, closest friends. Get up and carry on. Okay. Now, this said, I take a look at video games that are out. Okay. I take a look at the video games that are out and go, okay, they canceled the Looney Tunes. I don't know if it's back on now. Yeah, no doubt, Joe. When you take a look at violence on TV, they canceled the Looney Tunes and because it was too violent. And then they brought out Call of Duty. You know, they canceled Flintstones because it was too chauvinistic. And then they brought out Family Guy. Do you see a disparity here, or am I just imagining things again? You know, this has been going on for centuries. Well, quite frankly, it's been going on for millennia. Okay. And it's taught all the way back to the earliest religious spiritual guidance. You know, I mean, you think about it. The witch hunts had no videos. Okay. But people were told, you're thinking differently. Half the people that were classified as witches were herbalists, they were veterinarians, they were midwives. Okay. But they didn't believe what everybody else did. And I do agree with you, Joe. They are a convenient way to stop people from going out and getting bored and doing damage on the street, or in your case, staring out the window and looking at a black sky and going, you know, it does give you something to occupy your brain. Okay, myself, I write. Well, it does, but it also comes from the way from what people are focusing on. You know, I mean, think about it, Storm. Yes, the intellectual property is creating some interesting problems, but the intellectual property owners go, here's something that shows embarrassing pictures of people that these people don't want you to see. They said it's my property, so I'm going to post it. But it's the common person that clicks on that and gives it attention. Okay. So will I leave some of the ownership as part of the problem? Certainly. Okay. But it's the amount that people are focusing on that negativity. And this is why I say when you watch something negative, or when you watch something negative, listen to it, talk about it, doesn't matter. For every one item you do that you're looking at the negative, look at something of a positive nature. Okay. You know, take the time to look at the things that are of a positive nature. I was about to say to make you laugh, but unfortunately, many of the fight scenes I see make me all kinds of, uh-oh, I can't read that word. Storm and Shadow goes, give me a cross-dressing rabbit over a donut guzzling motion any day. You know, oh, moron, my apology, moron. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And the funny thing about it is I still like a lot of the old movies because they had some sort of of integrity involved in them. Yeah, part of that problem is my eyesight. But, the fact of the matter is, yes, the people in power, the religious leaders, the so-called elites, the wealthy, the incredibly wealthy, the politicians, the teachers, all of these people are having an impact. But understand something very important. Every one of these people is, almost every one of these people is human. Yes, we've got hybrids out there. And I hate to tell you this, well, no, I don't. But yes, we've got aliens living on this planet. Absolutely, we do. But before anybody jumps on that, to the best of my knowledge, not a single one of the actual aliens, or hybrids for that matter, are sitting in a position of power. Humans have not, aliens do not have, and they have not cornered the market on stupidity. Humans are doing a really bang up job of screwing up their own world. And frankly, my sitting in the shadows was 55 years of waiting for somebody to wake up and say, hey, guys, you're going about this wrong. Well, that was a waste of 55 years. Okay. I'm not planning on dying anytime soon. But am I going to create a few ruffled feathers? You bet your bottom dollar I am. Okay. Not setting out to, because if you think about it, what good does ruffled feathers do? It just makes you have to smooth them out again. But, see, here's the neat little thing. People come in here and ask questions. And I've seen so many of you guys turn around. John Swan, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And again, guys, if you like the stream, do give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. That would be really appreciated. Now, where is that fine little thing I'm looking for? Get that out of my way. And I'm looking for my mouse, but it keeps running off on me. And of course, I don't have a cat at all, so my mouse can get away with murder. Where are we here? Go up there. Just for, for those of you that have forgotten, okay, which if it's anything like me, you're bound to forget something. I usually forget a lot of things. But if you're looking to get in touch with me directly to order any one of the books I talk about, or just have a comment that you want to share, absolutely. This here is the email to get a hold of me. Whoop. What did I just do there? I think I just jammed something. Oh. Okay, where is... There's my phone. It's Desiree, unfortunately, it's really kind of a toss-up as to what's going on. Because of this being the beginning of the year, and of course, in my energy tank, if I fell asleep, that would do that in a hurry. But what do we got here? Okay. Let me just check. I need contacts, and where are we? Should be under D. Bingo. Okay, Desiree. After assuming I get half man tonight, I will try and give him a call tonight. What I don't know is what your guys' time zone is. Oh. I jammed up on me again. Well, of course it did. And my one screen scrambled again. This is one of those neat little things that I'm going to have to take a look at. Yeah, one of these wonderful little things I'm going to have to get Frank to take a look at. But I'll work from this one. Where are we? Now, I will do my best to answer. I know I've got a meeting, a call coming in at 6:30 my time, which, where are we here? Yeah, right after the stream, I know I've got a call and I should have a call coming in. But the reality is, I will do my best to answer, absolutely. That would be why. Nathan, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Hopefully things are going well for you tonight. Now, how in tarnation I locked that up. Okay, that has completely scrambled that one. Holy mackerel, what the heck's going on with my computer? Oh well, we'll deal with this one. No, I do appreciate. I am glad you got here, then, Nathan. Let's see. We'll just swap over and work off this screen for the time being. Oh, and of course it's shut down. Well, considering I just lost the video, if you would be kind enough to pop your link up there, Nathan, that would be really appreciated. Because I just lost the actual list for it. But, well, in all fairness, Nathan, when work is taking place, it would be, it actually, in my opinion, works better if it's busy. That's just the nice part about it, in my eyes. But, like I said, the important factor here is we have to really take a look at the world and decide what kind of a world we're going to be dealing with. Are we going to continue letting it go down the negative path? Or are we going to turn around and start pushing it down the positive one? I have no idea how that is. I can't read that. Well, where are we here? No, it'll be Friday night there. Of course. It'll be Friday night for us. It'll be Saturday night for you. This is correct. I will be on Spaced Out this year on Saturday, your time. I love when computers do things like that. It makes it so much fun. Thanks. Well, that sees nicely. Thanks so much, Nathan. And again, in case you couldn't tell, my throat just seized. And again, drop in, give Nathan a listen. If you like what he has to say, do subscribe to the channel. Give him a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share the daylights out of the thing. It would be really appreciated. By the way, Joe, there are things that are definitely off limits. But Dave handles most of that, and the ones that are off limits from my end, I'll just come right out and tell you. The thing is, we have to have spirituality and religion because not everybody is going to see the world the same way. Same as we have to have, you've got to have the spiritual side of things and the logical side, the scientific side. Because, like I said, spirituality explains the inexplicable until such time as logic as science sorts it out. I do not like when days like this happen. And to think, everything went well, even with the troll we ended up with. Okay. And yes, the reality of it is this. I do tend to refer to people by name. Well, by the name that's listed. But that's because that is an important thing to give you recognition. Trolls on the whole, And I now understand what a troll actually is. Still can't spot them where that's where you guys come in. But we will just lump them into the same category. They're absolutely pointless for me, aside from when they show up. They do show other people what is acceptable. Because if you didn't have the negative, you wouldn't know what the positive was. Okay, and this is why. Now today, I'm glad I actually managed to get online, because I just about tanked it with the tech problems. But let me see something here. I don't think I've got it written down yet. Tomorrow's Thursday, so I obviously won't be on. But we have the paranormal on Friday. We'll be discussing the paranormal and actually getting into some of the actual tools themselves. And then, of course, we've got Spaced Out Radio tomorrow night. Oh, of course, I'd lose that. So let's open that up, get that out of my way, and find the other one. File. And we go open. Browse. What I'm doing is finding the file that I accidentally closed, so I can actually see it. Because this is the link. This is the link to Spaced Out Radio, which will be on tomorrow night. Okay, I will be on tomorrow night with it. Okay, and we all know that one is strictly audience driven. And what do we got? There is the link. There is the link to Spaced Out Radio. Absolutely drop by and drop by Dave's. Give him a listen if you like what he has to say. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of it. Okay, it is literally this issue of people working together. And this is why I say this chat room itself, thankfully, not just my efforts. In all fairness, if it wasn't for you guys, I couldn't accomplish half of what I do here. It's just that simple. But this is a microcosm of the world at large. There are a few trolls that come in here, and the good people turn around and go, no, that's a troll, let's remove it. Okay, the same thing applies. Okay, now right now, what do we got in the chat room? We've got, there's 12 of us in here right now. Okay, but 12 to 1. In case you didn't know the math, that means, now this is a very small stream. Okay, and with that in mind, we're still looking at only 8% being trolls. Okay, if you take a look at that, where did I put it? It's up front. No, it's not. It's right there. And this is so much easier for me to work with. We take 1 divided by 12. Whoop, that's wrong. 1 divided by 13. That is only 7% of the population being a problem. Well, if you look at that, if only 7% of our population on this planet is 8 billion and then some. And that's just counting the humans. Okay. Yeah, there's a little discrepancy as to which ones are hybrids. Do we have anybody that's blending in? But 8 billion and only 7% of them are that kind of problematic issue. But you saw how quick that turned around. You saw how people jumped up and said, no, we're not taking this. To quote Twisted Sister, we're not going to take this anymore. There is no point in permitting that kind of behavior to continue. The reality is, if you go into somebody else's house, if somebody comes into your house, okay, Ah, that is a good request there, Desiree. And if we can get if some of you mods can find the annoying messages and just remove them, it's not that they don't exist, but we don't need the recognition handed out for people. You know, I've always been a firm believer bad things happen and should be reported, but we don't have to have them on the front page. I would rather have someone like a friend of mine just got back to me. She dropped off the map and gone and went missing. Well, I found out why. On top of getting sick, the young lass turned around and went and got herself married. Right. And then apologized for dropping off the map. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if one of you guys, finds a partner and decides you're getting married and you disappear for a little while, definitely don't apologize for disappearing. Absolutely come back and share the good news. Now I'm guilty of the same thing, not getting married. I will eventually be guilty of that, I hope. But I'm going, oops, sorry I didn't come in last night. I had a heart attack. I'm thinking that's probably overstated, but it goes with the territory. But again, guys, one of the big things about spirituality is this. Everybody does have, everybody absolutely has the right to their own opinion. Okay, you absolutely do. But with that in mind, it is imperative we keep this and this stream. It is imperative that we keep it as a safe place for people, not a place to sit there and start degrading people. Okay, I mean, heck, I've seen people go through some pretty serious problems in here, and the support I've seen you guys hand them. This is what spirituality is all about. You see somebody in trouble, reach out, offer them a hand up, give them a lift. Okay, even if it's only for a short period, as was stated in Batman Dark Knight. A hero can be just simply a man that puts a coat around a young boy's shoulders when it's cold out to let him know he's not on his own. That's all it takes, is just looking at somebody and going, how are you doing? I noticed you. I make absolutely certain because I'll talk to just about anybody. I'll talk to just about anybody. But I'll tell you, the number of people I've spoken to that have been stuck in a wheelchair, scooters aren't quite so bad, but people stuck in a wheelchair, so often people totally ignore them. And the look on their face when you turn around and ask them, and just treat them like a person is just phenomenal. It was weird. I was going through the grocery store the other day, and there was a gentleman in a wheelchair that was having trouble getting into the fridge. And I looked at him and I said, would you like me to get that for you? And he looked at me and he goes, no, that's okay. I'll be fine. So I stood there and waited because I already knew it wasn't going to work out that well. Eventually he capitulated and let me give him a hand. But so often people get ignored. And the reality is that I have no interest in people being ignored anymore. Okay. This is why I said I've decided I'm coming out of the shadows. And it's great to lead from to work in the background. I mean, heck, think about the science fiction movies, and we'll take Star Trek and Star Wars, like your spacefaring movies, just for example. Okay, if it weren't for them, let's go back even further. let's go back to the big steamships of old. If people didn't work behind the scenes, the engines wouldn't run. Okay, we kind of have to have people behind the scenes. But you can't lead from behind the scenes. And I've sat back and watched this world tear itself slowly apart, and sometimes not so slowly. Okay, I've been as been guilty as the rest of you, sitting there going, gee, I wonder if they're going to figure it out. You know, I remember driving down the 401, which runs from Barrie, Ontario, down south down to Toronto. And if you're from the Toronto area, you know how bad the 401 can be. Okay, but I remember driving down that. I'm listening to the newscast overhead, and these two reporters or two newscasters are talking to each other. You know, it's a whiteout. We're doing 120 and then some. And the one reporter says, "Do you think we should tell those people down there that they're driving on sheer ice?" He didn't say anything. The other guy looks at him and goes, "Nah, they'll figure it out soon." Okay, you know, and sure enough, not half a minute later, they had a 50-car pileup, or that's what it looked like, because somebody lost control. Now, coming back down here, Desiree, good of you to ask. And by the way, for those of you that are here as well, I am putting a list together. I'm checking it twice. No, that's not quite right. Of what people's goals are so we can make them happen. Okay. Now, your answer to that question, Desiree, is to start with the small ones. Whoops, let's get that out of the way. I should probably lift my tail feathers off the chair to do this. What do you think? Okay. Please tell me I didn't do that. Good, I didn't. Okay, not that one. But this particular book, one of my goals, and this is the shorter goals, okay, is to finish reading this book. Now, as you can see, I've only got that much left of it. Okay, so that's one of my goals. Goal number 2 on the list is this one here, and where Patel. Is this one here, is to finish reading this one. Okay, and I'm holding it with the top cover up. So again, this is a short goal. Okay, but I've got a combination of long and short. Okay, then we go to goal number 3. And I'm not going to dig it up right now. It's over there, but I started crocheting a white blanket, a full queen size blanket. I don't know if I'm going to make it queen size at this point. Okay, but I intend on finishing it. Goal number 4 is to clear all of the excess clutter from this office. Last year I set it up to get it from the entire house. Way too big, way too unfocused. Number 5 is to pick up some new electronics, not the least of which is a new TV, a new computer system, and I do mean one that's close to state of the art. I am intending on going back to college, university, school to pick up a university, to pick up a certificate, diploma, or degree. I don't know what yet, but I am going to be improving my education. I intend on dropping to 170 pounds. Right now, as of Sunday, as of the first, a few days ago, I was 193. Now it's a question of bringing that down. Currently, I'm able to curl 25 pounds with one arm. I am intending on bringing that up to 40. Okay. Then I'm going to be doing a monthly report each month, obviously, to indicate what my year has been like. Okay, which reminds me, I got to do the one for December, so I've got 12. I intend on, I've got on my list of goals the trip to both, one trip to Texas and a trip to Nevada for the SOR party. Okay, they are on my list of goals to deal with. And then I've got computer software that I've got to get sorted around, some information for printing and for my own publishing. And then, of course, the big one, which is an overhaul of my spiritual, logical, emotional, and physical world, not to mention the materialistic one. Oh, well, Joe, I understand remaining reclusive, and there's a really big part of me that would like to. Problem is, I'm sitting here going, I talk about we've got to initiate change. Okay, now, Joe, you've got your work cut out for you in your own world. Iowax, I didn't even know you had a rental business, but excellent. One thing from that point, more power to you. You gotta keep. Well, you don't have to. I'd appreciate it if you would keep us in the loop regarding how that is going. Dealing. I would suggest you've mentioned you're planning on expanding your rental business. I would suggest that you pick a more specific idea. Now, I'm presuming you're referring to renting properties. Okay, if that is the case, then I would suggest you specify how many you would like to increase by, but make a reasonable amount. Now, clearly, if you're having to buy them, oh, okay, perfect. Well, I will tell you, that's a way of getting shot that won't kill you. Nice, Iowax. I'd love to see how you're planning on expanding it. Now, you've got laser tag, a whole lot. I mean, there's a lot of money to deal with there, but absolutely, there are all kinds of things that can be done to make it more exciting. Okay, just remember, no real lasers. That would make it more exciting, but I'm recommending against it. Technically, laser tag uses a laser anyway, but at least it doesn't leave burn marks. But that Desiree is a list of 12 that I've got. Now, as I get one done, like for instance with the books, I've already got 2 lined up to carry on reading. That being said, not on that list is a staggering amount of things I desire to get done. Okay, and get accomplished. Yeah. Robert goes, no mini hadron colliders either. Yeah, very true. Yeah, hadron collider is definitely a bad idea. I mean, it's a great idea for some things. Oh, nice, Iowax. The nice part about it, I know a lot of people have a lot of fun with it. I never did get a chance to play. My leg had collapsed way too bad to get to even try laser tag. I did, however, when I was a young adult, I did get involved in the paint guns. I don't know what they called that, but we used to use paint guns for the same reason. And I do encourage. That's one of those games. That's one of those things that yes, it uses modern tech. It uses a game-like system, but you're physically far more active. Okay, and rest assured, being physically active is better for the health. There is no doubt there in my mind at all. You know, and what we're looking at here, what? Well, you know, Robert, without going into details, I know somebody that can actually take a TV remote and with a little bit of tweaking could literally turn it into a grenade. Okay, which, by the way, I'm recommending against. Again, for me, violence is simple. Okay, violence is only functionally useful in movies, stories, and mutually agreed upon sporting events. Plus, of course, survival. If your life depends on it, do whatever you have to. Okay, and worry about it after the fact. You know, the nice part about it, like for me, I can just picture me trying to use one of these laser guns myself. They probably could be. I have no doubt they could be. There are some phenomenal things with electronics. The fact that I can screw them up by walking by them just means I don't have to worry about the Terminator problem. Okay, virtually everybody sort of has to worry about the apocalypse. As we discussed the other day, here's your zombie apocalypse right here, which is why I like um why I like the little, what the heck was it? Um why I like the little cartoon I saw. Bunch on Facebook. Bunch of kids were these two kids are standing there and there's two holes behind them. And you see legs sticking up out of the ground, out of the hole. And then you got a bunch of people walking around on the beach with a cell phone in their hand. They're looking at the cell phone. The little boy looks at the girl and goes, "So how many did you catch?" And this is unfortunately what we're looking at. You know, what we're looking at. I'm just reading what's writ there. What's writ? So much for English. Yeah, come with me if you wanna. The nice little part about it for my touches, games, shouts. Ouch. I've had way too many electronics. As a matter of fact, when I was just 20 months old, and I took the fever, and I ended up with the fever. They hooked me up to an EEG machine. At that time, it used a net that had little needles that just touched little probes that just touched your skin. You're not supposed to be able to feel them. Okay. In my case, they turned the thing on to take a scan of my brain. I felt it. I retaliated. And back in 1960, would have been 1965, and they had this EEG machine that all of a sudden went pop and smoke trailed out of the top of it. And I'll tell you, in 65, an EEG machine was an expensive little piece. The neat part about, like, I haven't watched Star Trek, in all fairness, Robert. I haven't watched TV in who knows how long. Yeah, but, they've got a machine that goes bing, but it's not supposed to go bing burp and then end up with smoke coming out of it. They don't like me for some reason. Something about electronics. But one thing we have to realize, yeah, it's been a very long time since I've watched Monty. When my brother was alive, we used to watch Monty Python all the time when he was around. Okay, but then he was very much a fan of the Monty Python world. I still like I still like the whole thing. It's only a flesh wound. But the reality of it is that spirituality comes in all forms. I've known people that literally worshiped a light bulb. That worked out very poorly. Okay, but when you take a look at every form of spirituality, every form of belief that's out there, all of them have part of the truth. And therefore, if you want the real answer, take a look at all of them and find out the bits and pieces. And for pity's sakes, get along. And by the way, getting along does not mean ramrodding your opinion down anybody's throat. I still remember the day I was on Spaced Out Radio, and Dave, all he did was simply recite, he simply repeated the question that somebody asked. Yeah, the original one is Iowax. The first light bulb that was ever made is still burning to this day. It's never been turned off. Okay, and I think it's got to be pushing something close to 200 years now. But I'm probably off on that one. But, from my standpoint, it really boils down to a simple thing. You desire to get more spiritual. Everybody, and everything out there has part of the answer. The more you get along, the more you communicate, the more you relax, the more information you're going to get. But forcing somebody to see the world your way doesn't work. Okay, now don't get me wrong. In this chat room, if you take a look at this chat room, and I'm sure some of you can relate to this. If we look at the chat room in this stream, oh, there we go. Desiree is just saying Derek found out some interesting connection between the I think that's 1833 Italy UFO crash and Nikola Tesla. Well, that ought to be entertaining. He told me it has to do with a guy named now. Of course, my eyes are failing here. Guglielmo Marconi, Nobel Peace Prize winner in science, that worked on the saucer craft. Not surprising. And this is why I say all of the information out there, wherever it comes from, okay, we got to realize humans are a viable race. They do have some very definitely redeeming qualities. Yes, a lot of them are pretty dense. Okay, but everybody gets their inspiration from somewhere. The off-world races go back in time, go back to their beginnings, and they too learn from other people. Okay, if you know how to work on a car and a kid doesn't turn to you and you show them, that kid is still learning. Okay, that kid is still hopefully going to improve on what you're teaching them. Okay, the big thing from my end is this. It is time we take a look in the mirror and really decide whether we're going to continue blaming other people for the way the world is, for the way our world is, where it's something we've got control over. Or are we going to start making modifications tonight? I'm slowly getting an idea on how some tech works. And, this said, I still definitely appreciate the support. The reality is we cannot continue leaving things the way they are. Well, we could. It's just not going to work well for me. Oh, the reference I was going to make is in this chat room, like at a gaming table. Okay, in this chat room there are two laws. Okay, there's two rules in this chat room. understanding God is an entity unto itself. Okay, but in this stream, I'm God. Rule number 2: if you have a problem, see rule number 1. Okay, and that applies to anybody's house, like your house. You're the god of that house. You're the king of the castle, whatever. Whatever you do, remember, if you've got a partner, okay, doesn't matter who they are. Yeah, Robert, I thought rule number 3 was simply roll a percentile to make a decision or flip a coin. Has to be a die. You know, yeah, and I literally watched somebody one day, and they're going through the games. They're actually in the, and they were looking at 2 cans of soup, and they looked at those 2 cans of soup, you know, and all of a sudden he pulls out a die. He pulls out a 6-sided dice, crouches down on the floor. And for those of you that don't know what a 6-sided dice is, it's a standard die. You'd find it in any of the games. Okay, like Snakes and Ladders is even one that's got it. But he takes out a die, crouches down on the floor, and rolls it on the floor. He goes, vegetable soup it is. You know, now, I mean, that's taking the whole idea of gaming to a whole new level. But, you know, it is one of these things we got to look at. And when we're talking about spirituality, we have to learn to accept everybody's input. That doesn't mean you have to tolerate it being rammed down your throat. And we certainly don't tolerate people calling each other names. Aside from, you know, there are some people in here, and I think I've got this one right, and if I don't, pardon me, or don't. But, you know, I refer to him as World, okay, because that's what's listed here. But many people refer to him as Duke. Okay, I think I got that right, and if I'm not, absolutely feel free to correct me. You know, but the fact of the matter is, we do have to realize that people do have a right to have their own opinion, their own belief structure. Mine is not the only one that matters. In the context of a chat room or of a live stream, whoever the live stream belongs to, they do have a right to dictate what says. You know, and it's because of things like what you did here, Desiree, when you piped up and said, look, can somebody do this because I'm really not comfortable with it? Absolutely. This is the whole point. If there is a problem, come out and bring it to our attention, and we'll do our best to deal with it. Okay. It's kind of a critical necessity if we're going to make things happen. Now, let us see something here. Let us refresh that just because I want to see where it's sitting. To me, because if it were working, we wouldn't have so many wars on the go. And apparently, I just heard from somebody else that they are looking at, that Canada is looking at maybe getting it. And you know, Canada's got its own problems. It's not perfect. It happens to be where I live, and I got no interest in moving. But I do have an interest in getting everybody worldwide. Okay. Yeah, I was just noticing that it was lagging on my screen here as well. Oh, apparently it's going to hiccup. You know, what I would like to see happen is a greater and greater number in live streams where they're talking about the positive side of life or about the way we are building, not about the war that's going on. Okay, like I said, you hear all this stuff about war, and then I find out that an old friend of mine, she finally got back in touch with me, and she gone, you know, explain why she disappeared. Turns out that the guy she was dating years ago, okay, that I told her she just needed a little bit of patience. he wasn't going anywhere. Well, it took him a few years, but they got married. Okay, this is the sort of thing in my eyes that should be sitting on the front page, not who embezzled what, or who insulted who, or who embarrassed who. Okay, when you guys have something you do that is of a positive nature, that is exciting to you, and is not hurting other people, absolutely let me know. Come in, try and let us know in the chat room. That's what I'd like to see happen. So that when people walk out of this room, okay, when the stream ends, you feel a little bit more rejuvenated, a little bit more uplifted, not depressed. That video is still not picking up. Am I actually still on video for you guys? Because my feed died. Well, we'll try and refresh. Let's refresh that one more time, see if that kicks it. I love computer problems. I have so many of them. But one of the big things here is, I do my best to come in here on a regular basis. Oh, perfect. Thanks, Robert. I had to refresh my screen again. Because my second feed, what you guys see is over here. I've got this feed here. Right, this is the screen. This is where my camera is. But the one thing I would like to see happen is for all of us to really start focusing on the positive side of things. Okay, and to really start celebrating each other's successes instead of focusing so much on, oh, look, the stock market's going to crash. I don't know about you, but me, the stock market doesn't have a whole lot of bearing. I don't think the only investments I've got right now are not in stocks. Okay, so if the stock market crashes, I don't know about you, but it doesn't have a lot of bearing on me. Of course, if the Canucks win the Grey Cup or I guess that'd be the Stanley Cup, which gives you an idea of my understanding of sports. That too isn't going to have a whole lot of bearing on me, but it may have a bearing on you guys. And if it is important in a positive nature to you guys, then absolutely, this is what we're looking at sharing. And this is what I'd like to see the world start doing. This is simply a microcosm. Okay, this is just simply a microcosm of the world at large. That's just the way that reality works in my eyes. Now, I will tell you, we are getting down to the last couple of minutes here. Okay, I just want to take the time. That came out well. I want to just take the time to say thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. Really do appreciate it. And I will be. Where are we here? I can't see that because I got this silly little heart that sits right in the middle of it. Oh, there we are. Yeah. Storm and Shadowy just saying, I'm waiting for the pug market to rebound. It will eventually. But thank you so very much for sharing your time with me, guys. Really do appreciate it. And we will be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, so of course I won't be back. I was thinking I had to cancel it, but I'm not even going to be here. That said, I will be back on Friday, and then again, we will be on Spaced Out Radio on Friday as well. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.